All right, we are live, I believe, guys. What is going on? You're tuning in live. We're covering UFC. Excuse me, Bellator. What are you talking about? UFC. We're not covering UFC. We're talking about Bellator. We're not doing this week's best MMA bets. We're going to be doing the Bellator 259 best bets, the full card breakdown, and betting picks. We got a lot of stuff in store for you guys today. Smash the like button. I'm telling you guys, there's so many interesting plays to be made on this Bellator card, but it's one of those cards where you really do have to be cautious. I'll be 100% honest with you guys right now. There's some guys that are sitting at massive favorite status, and I don't necessarily think they deserve that level of favorite status on the lines. I mean, you're looking at Davion Franklin 2-0. He's fighting Tyler King, and he's like a minus 900 favorite right now. That's not sensible in my opinion at all. I don't necessarily think that's a good play straight up. We're going to be talking about some of my opinion of best bets to play. We'll also be looking at some parlays, and also we'll be talking about some prop bets. Be getting into this in one moment. Smash that like button if you guys are just tuning in. So the goal on this video, we are looking for 100 likes. We're going for triple digits. This is an exciting series. I started it for UFC, also doing it for Bellator as well. Yeah, Corrales did get you that last card, bro. It got me too. The thing with Corrales is I think he might be done, but that doesn't matter. This is this Bellator card. We're going to talk about all of the best bets that I believe we should be playing. Without further ado, let's start it off because you guys know I can talk all day. We'll look through, in my opinion, what I feel are first the locks. That's going to be the first segment of this video, is going to be the locks. In MMA, there is no such thing as a lock, but I'm going to try to get you guys as lock as we can get. Number one is Chris Cyborg inside the distance. Now, it's not that great at minus 400. I will 100% admit that. But I don't see this fight going the distance. She's going to dominate Leslie Smith. The thing is, she could also get a submission or a knockout. I think she's capable on the ground, as is Smith, granted. But if Cyborg hurts you on the feet, I think she can tap you on the ground. That might happen here. So to be safer, I like the inside the distance bet. We'll definitely be parlaying that up here a little bit later on in this video. The next lock of the week that I feel should be a fairly good one is Caldwell. This is an unnecessary rematch against an improved Leandro Higo. That's why I like the straight Caldwell bet as a lock. I'm not telling you guys inside the distance or goes to decision or knockout or any of those props, because I do feel like I've seen improvement in Leandro Higo, especially on the ground. Caldwell, a wrestler, could see this fight going all three, but Caldwell could also absolutely put the pace on him like last time in the first minute and get the submission. Let me get a sip of this real quick, and we'll talk about the dogs of the week. These dogs that we got on Bellator, I mean, I think they're fairly decent dogs. I like the locks, obviously, the most. We'll talk about my personal favorite dog for the value. It's going to be Sabatello starting it off. Danny Sabatello is fighting Brett Johns. Yes, Brett Johns is really good with his grappling, but Danny Sabatello is a better wrestler of the two. He's not a guy that's easy to finish. Brett Johns getting a good amount of decisions as of late. I feel like Sabatello, if anything, this fight's striking. Sabatello, the taller guy, has some advantages. We'll quickly bring up the tail of the tape for that fight, actually. I think that should be on the main card. I don't know why that's a prelim fight, because Danny Sabatello is one of the hottest prospects in the bantamweight division outside of the UFC, and now he's in Bellator. And Brett Johns is a former UFC fighter who's been in there with some fairly good names. To see Sabatello as this big of a dog is probably because he's not fought the same level of competition as Brett Johns, so he doesn't have that proven resume. But I will say, dominant decisions. He got caught by one big punch against Rivera, but he was dominating that fight. On the other side, you got a guy with a few losses in the UFC, but I will say Brett Johns is pretty good, especially on the ground. But he's fighting a guy here in Danny Sabatello, the Italian gangster, who's extremely good with his wrestling, heavy on top, and I feel like it's going to be a hellish matchup for Brett Johns. I like Danny Sabatello to win this fight, and I do like it by a decision, but that prop, unfortunately, unavailable. So obviously there is a fight goes the distance prop there sitting at the minus 170. I like Sabatello here at the plus 245. If you're looking for a dog play that has the right value, that's definitely one of them. Another dog that I see coming through is going to be Willis. He's fighting against Macon Mendoza. Mendoza has taken a fair amount of knockout losses in the past. Jaleel Willis on the other side does have a good amount of power in his hands and also brings a really good wrestling game. I know the recency bias is probably, wow, Maycon Mendoza has looked really good in LFA. He stepped his game up. He's had a full career turnaround. But Jaleel Willis beat Mark Leminger, who is actually a pretty good fighter, and he beat him fairly handily. I mean, he deserved the decision in that fight. Maycon Mendoza, stylistically, I think matches up well for Willis. I think Willis gets inside and lands the knockout at plus 110. Another dog I'm really feeling is going to be Willis here. Now, we got some more as well that we will get into. What is the next dog? We have it right here. Yes, it is. It's Fabian Edwards. I did not expect the odds to be this widespread. Of all the dogs, I am going to put him at the bottom of the list simply because not the most high-level experience in the matchup, I'll be honest with you, is going to be really hard. It's a hard matchup. Do I love this play? Do I definitely... Am I clicking on the wrong one? Christian Edwards. We got to find Fabian Edwards. All right, one above. All right, here it is. Here it is. Fabian Edwards versus Austin Vanderford. Now, Vanderford is a really good wrestler. Fabian Edwards, striker. Striker versus grappler. But I will say, Fabian Edwards shows good striking. His stats, as far as his length go, are not bad at all, especially for being a striker with decent enough takedown defense versus Vanderford, a chain wrestler. I think there's definitely some upside in betting on the big man here at 6'1", 79.5-inch reach. Good fighter from kickboxing range. Just one loss against Costello Van Steenis, who's a beast, and it's a split decision. It could have gone either way. It was a very competitive fight looking back at it. Fabian Edwards at plus 210. I like that play. Another play on it that I do like that I'll just mention now is that fight goes the distance play for this fight, because I do think there's a fair likelihood that it does, but I like sprinkling Fabian Edwards. Of the three dogs, I'm going to put him at the back end, but I still think that he's a valuable dog pickup if you're looking to play some dogs here. Now, I am going to give you guys what I'm going to call some riskier favorites, because Bellator is notorious for having massive odds favoring one fighter, but not always delivering. I'm going to actually tell you guys more or less to stay away from the Davion Franklin play at minus 900, even in your parlays, just simply because we've seen hot prospects in Bellator lose. Granted, Tyler King is not that good, and I think there's still a play to be made on that fight, and we will talk about it in just a moment. But one of these guys that I think should get the victory that's worth a play, potentially, minus 400, Alexander Shalabai. You're looking for a more moderate risk parlay, or you're looking for a straight play, but I don't like him at minus 400. If the odds were sitting at minus 200, that's a different opinion. I'm putting them in maybe as one of the best plays to do of the week, but Shalabai's not that proven for me to put 400 to make 100 down. Another fighter I think is Nate Andrews. He's fighting Syed Awad. I think it's a good play, but a riskier favorite play at minus 310. All signs point to him winning that fight, dominating on the feet, but Syed Awad has some tricky submissions. And just in case, I have to give you guys that warning on Nate Andrew that he could get tapped. Unlikely, extremely unlikely. He's fought good guys in PFL and done pretty well. I think he dominates an old Syed Awad here. But again, have to give you guys the more, I guess, riskier take on these ones. I don't want to steer you guys wrong here saying these are locks of the week, but I think that they're winners that could come through. Another one, Grant Neal. He really should beat Tyree Fortune at minus 245, though, for a guy with, I believe, 4 fights between them both, or they're both 5-0. Let me quickly double check here. Both 5-0. 5 fights between each of them. I think it could potentially go either way, but Grant Neal should be able to win this fight. But just in case, he's a little bit overrated. Again, one of those, I'm going to warn you, put him on your moderate or riskier parlays, but don't think that you're looking at an absolute lock. So I have to warn you guys, because Bellator is notorious for big dogs to come through, as is PFL as of late. Women's MMA is insane. Outside of the big women's fight in that main event, Hannah Guy and Valerie Lareda, Valerie really should win that fight, but women's MMA is very dangerous to bet. Looking at Janai Harding and Leah McCourt, another dog play that I like, but it's going to be on what I'm going to call the riskiest. This is the riskiest of the winners that I'm going to pick here, and it is a dog, Janai Harding. I'm not putting her on the dog plays of the weeks. It's definitely not the most extreme high confident, but I have to give my opinion is that she'll beat Leah McCourt. My fear, though, is that she gets put on her back for an extended period of time, potentially makes an IQ mistake and gives up her back and gets choked out or grinded out to a decision. Decent dog, but not the best, as we talked about the better dogs. We'll get to the next segment, and this segment here is going to be the prop locks, the hypothetical locks of the props. And this one here I like is Cyborg, as I said, inside the distance at minus 400. I think that's a really good one. Cyborg by TKO at minus 215 is a decent play as well. There's more too. For another prop lock that I think will deliver, it's that Brett Johns, Danny Sabatello fight goes the distance, minus 170. Not bad. Two grapplers. A lot of times when you see grapplers and grapplers, either it cancels it out or the more jiu-jitsu guy will be forced to lay on his back while the wrestler controls throughout. We might have not the most entertaining fist fight, but we definitely could have a winning bet here. At minus 170, fight goes the distance. I think that's a decent play and one of the prop pseudo locks here. Now, the next one is going to be our prop possible plays. There is, as I said, there's value in the Jaleel Willis, the Davion Franklin play, but it's not in betting it straight. Just bet fight doesn't go to the distance. Franklin by dominant TKO really should be the result. At minus 350, I'll play that. I don't feel comfortable betting Franklin at minus 900. If he loses, he probably gets caught with something fluky. If he wins, I think he TKOs an old and on a bad streak Tyler King. If the fight does go the distance there, that would suck. I think that would look really bad for Davion Franklin's career and stall his progress moderately, because Tyler King's on like a 4 or 5 fight losing streak. He's looked terrible in his past few, and he's over 40. Davion Franklin, bet the fight doesn't go to decision there at minus 350. Maybe you even parlay it up. We'll be talking parlays in one of the next segments coming up. We do have another one. It's Caldwell. As I said, I picked him earlier. I like him inside the distance as a possible play. Not an absolute lock play, but I do think Caldwell inside the distance has value here at plus 200. I think you could deliver, you could hit, you could get yourself some real success with a Caldwell inside the distance at plus 200. He already tapped Higo once. I wouldn't bet the house on it, though, and that's why, it's not going to be on the prop locks here. It's a prop possible play. It really should hit. I think he should get the finish. But to be sure, you could just bet him straight. If you're more concerned, and especially if you're playing some big money that you already have some good returns, no need to necessarily go out there and risk it at the plus 200 price tag. Now, the next section of this video we'll be talking about is what I'm going to consider the prop Hail Marys. And there's actually some decent ones here for the prop Hail Marys. The one that I like, the number 2 out of the 2. So it's our runner up. It's going to be Jaleel Willis by a KO over Maycon Mendoza. What are the odds of that right there? Jaleel Willis by KO is plus 1. Excuse me, that's not it. Jaleel Willis by KO is sitting at plus 600. Okay, let's pull up our boy Maycon Mendoza's record. He's got 3 knockout losses. I know he lost to Aguilar at one point. I know he lost to another guy over in LFA, like two LFA fights. But this is back in, I believe, 2017. Okay, 2018. He got knocked out by Aguilar in one big punch. He lost a decision to LaRue Burley, and he got knocked out bad against Matthew Frankel. He's on a good streak here. But is anyone in that streak necessarily as good as Jaleel Willis? I mean, he fought an undefeated fighter here whose name I'm not going to really go and botcher, Dagvaraj. Jaleel Willis, 14-2. Tricky guy to fight. Has a bit of pop in the hands, but I don't think necessarily the most amount of impressive wins. But it's very matchup specific. If you're looking for a prop possible play, prop Hail Mary, bet a knockout for Jaleel Willis. He has power, even though necessarily you don't always see it from him. Could just be him landing a big one on the chin of Maycon Mendoza. Another one that I really like is Chris Cyborg by a submission at plus 500. Plus 500 for Cyborg by a submission. That's a really interesting bet because I think she could tap out Leslie Smith. I think it might be worth a sprinkle. But I will say more likely, I just like the inside the distance play. But at minus 400, you're looking at a seriously different tag. Plus 500 could deliver big cash. Get yourself a little sprinkle on that one for the prop Hail Marys. I think it's an okay one. And then another prop, I'm not going to necessarily be able to call this a Hail Mary as far as your amount of return you're going to get back. But as far as the value in it, fight goes the distance here. It's a little riskier, but it's still worth a mention on the riskier play side. Minus 185, fight goes the distance. Vanderford, Edwards. I do see it going all 3. But of all of the bets and the props, this is one of the lesser confident ones, and the upside of it is not that great. So that's why I'm not extremely high on this play. I think it's a decent one, and it really could deliver, and it should deliver. But we have to give the warning, it could not deliver because Fabian Edwards is a good striker, could get the knockout. Vanderford could get his back and get a submission. I don't think, but it could happen. At the end of the day, when the cage door closes, crazy things happen. Let me quickly check up on that live chat and see what's popping here. All right. We'll be getting back to these plays in a moment. Guys, smash the like button if you have not already. About to get to the parlays to play section of this video. I'm really looking forward to talking these parlays up because I think that there are some really interesting ones. And I think there's some potential of hitting some home runs on the parlays here because I think there's value, man. I really do. Let's get to the parlays. Let's pull them up. All right. Bellator 259 Cyborg versus Smith 2. This is the full card breakdown in our betting picks here. Let's get to it. Quickly pull up what I need here. All right. So you're looking for parlays, you're looking for safer plays, you're looking to make yourself a bit of money, but you don't want to risk it all. This is the safer section. We're going to talk about the safer plays of the parlay first, and then obviously we'll get into the higher risk parts as well. Let's start it off first with a Chris Cyborg pickup inside the distance. Cyborg inside the distance. This is a play that really should hit, and I'm very confident it does. Parlay that up with Darion Caldwell. You'll be sitting around minus 150. Definitely one that I believe will deliver for you. It absolutely should. And I think it's possible it doesn't, but it really should deliver. Another one that I like bringing it on with would maybe be this one here, but it's going to add more risk. Now we're looking at some different plays. Ooh, not this one. Davion Franklin. He's a huge favorite, but as I said, if you bet fight doesn't go the distance for Davion Franklin, if you bet Darion Caldwell at minus 300, and you bet Justino, Chris Cyborg inside the distance at minus 400, you're sitting at plus 114. If you're looking for plus money plays only, I think this one has some real value. I think this one has some possibility, and I think this one should hit here. Now, there's other bets that I would love to make, like betting on the submission specialist, Aviv Ghazali, but there's just not enough I've seen from Sean Felton, and there's not enough I've really seen from Ghazali as far as a high-level skill set, granted very good on the ground, that makes me want to bet it. He should absolutely win, but Bellator gets you nervous for some of those plays sometimes. Now, if you're looking to add in a potential dog, somebody to really bring you home nicely, if you're looking to play this for plus 639, you add in Danny Sabatello. Those are some widespread odds. They definitely could hit. There's possibility, but I will also have to mention a plus 245 dogs. The bookies are seeing something. Now, I do think they're underestimating Danny Sabatello. I like a play on Danny Sabatello as a dog, but if you're looking for the parlay, I have to warn you of the slight risk here. Because, you know, it's the fight game, guys. It's the fight game. And the fight game is a crazy one at that. But Danny Sabatello's a decent one. Are there other fighters that I'm feeling like that confidence that I want to bring on? Man, it's Bellator, guys. And Bellator is risky. If you get arrogant on Bellator betting, you'll think you're in for the money. You're going to lock up all the big favorites. I'm going to be rich. And that big favorite turns out to be not nearly as good as expected. You're going to lose. And that's a thing with Bellator we've seen in the past. It's something that I personally don't really want to risk. So when I play Bellator, I'm playing Bellator intelligently. I like this plus 639 play. If you're not feeling my boy Danny Sabatello, the Italian gangster, you can skip him. You don't necessarily need him at plus 114. I still really love this play. Another one that maybe you can add to it if you're like, okay, I want to have more risk and I want to, you know, try to hit something big. Granted, I am going to stir you more towards the less money back for the more safety. You know, at the end of the day, the fight game is a wild one. If you pick Caldwell that's inside the distance, it's highly likely. But at plus 382, now you're getting good money. But it could go the opposite way, and it could end up really screwing you there. And then, obviously, you'll be pretty disappointed when he goes and wins a dominant decision. So that's why I don't love that play. I want to keep Caldwell in. So right now, these are three plays that I think do have value. Another one to play, I'm really thinking about playing with some women's MMA, but You know, we've just seen a lot of bad things happen with women's MMA that it just makes it even more dangerous to play low-level women's MMA. Like Valerie Loretta should absolutely win her fight, and she should be dominant. I play her on, and I'm thinking I'm good to go. Maybe I play her fight, doesn't go the distance, whatever. And then she goes out there and doesn't have a good performance, is not really at the level that we thought. And then we're kicking ourselves. Another reason why, a Janai Harding play, if you're looking for like a long shot parlay, we're going to do long shot parlay. This right here is going to be the get you rich, all risk. I'm not saying play this. I'm telling you guys not to play this actually. But if you're wild, you want to sprinkle something down on it, we'll play with this. We're looking for at least plus 1,000 odds. Fight doesn't go to the decision. We already have that one up for the Davion Franklin one. Cyborg inside the distance. Caldwell minus 300. Janai Harding a plus 115 dog. Maybe it's the play, but I'm going to first put Sabatello down because I need my boy Sabatello on the lines. I think he's worth the play. I'm also going to add in Grant Neal here at minus 245. But again, warning, Grant Neal is 5-0 and so is Tyree Fortune. He should absolutely win this fight. But at the end of the day, less experience, guys. Things could go the opposite way fast, and I don't want to see you guys, shitting yourselves like, why did I play that bet? Because we've all been there. Another one that really should hit, but again, more risk is going to be putting Andrews down. Plus 1,277. This right here is the craziest play of the week if you're looking to do some plays. This is one that I really think could hit. It really could. But I'm telling you, you are risking a lot here. And there's definitely possibility of disappointment. So that's some warnings. I'll tell you, maybe you take out Grant Neal and just at plus 878 you like it. Maybe you take out Sabatello and now you're looking at plus 183 to bring in the Nate Andrews on, who should win for a 4-fight play. I don't think that's necessarily a bad play, but it's a riskier one. If you like Jaleel Willis at dog, you're up to plus 495. Let's go crazy. Let's see how big we can get this. I'm not recommending this. This is a do not do this warning here. I'm telling you, don't play this, guys, unless you are just looking to sprinkle something and try to hit big. Plus 2,323. Grant Neal, Janai Harding, Brett Johns, Jaleel Willis, Nate Andrews, Darren Caldwell. Fight doesn't go to decision for the Davion Franklin and Tyler King fight, and Chris Cyborg wins inside the distance. For me, I will tell you this: it could hit, but you're betting on the 3 dogs of the night. That's scary, guys. You're betting on 2 of the dogs of the night. We have Janai Harding and we have Jaleel Willis. Let's add in Danny Sabatello to really make it crazy. If somehow we could get that, if your bookie allows it, plus 8,260, all 3 dogs got to hit. And one of them, really, I'm nervous about the women's MMA one. Let's take Janai off. We're still looking at plus 3,788. There's some smart plays. There's some stupid plays. When you start doing parlays, you can go crazy. You can end up adding Shalabah and you're at plus 4,760. But it could easily go the other way. Don't start thinking that the lottery ticket is sitting there by playing yourself with some crazy-ass parlays. Don't necessarily think it's worth it. Keep it intelligent with your plays. We talked about some good props. There's some decent opportunities for money to be made on the card, but you really don't have to go insane here. We went in, I think, pretty deep for the best parlays. The one I'm going to recommend you is Cyborg inside the distance. We're going to bring it up one last time. Cyborg inside the distance. This right here, I would bet. I'm going to be betting this one. Justino wins inside distance. Minus 400. I'll eat the high price tag. Caldwell wins. And I'm going to bet Davion Franklin and Tyler King doesn't go the distance. Boom. Plus 114. You're in plus money. And the likelihood of this not hitting really is going to be hard to imagine. It could not hit. It definitely could not hit, but it should hit. This is, of all the parlays, the true lock parlay right there. Anything else you play, you're asking for a bit of trouble. We went through the best Bellator bets to play. Unfortunately, they don't have parlays for every single, prop bets for every single fight. We did the best we can. We have some fun moments coming up for Bellator. We'll be live here on the channel doing the full card play-by-play and commentary. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. The newer series coming out, the Best Bet series. It will be an addition to the typical predictions. If you're just tuning in, we're about to head off here, but smash the like button. Catch it on replay. Rewind this stream. Whether watching live and replay, I really appreciate everybody for tuning into this. So smash that like button. As I said, goal 100 likes on this video. I absolutely think we could hit that. Thank you, everybody who's watching live. Thank you, everybody watching on replay. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new here. And if you're looking for me on social media, follow me there. I'll have it all inside of the description. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you all in the next video.